hear the word water,
Water
It's
use
related to water.
or water use.
and you think of life. This ever possibility we have adapted ourselves into. Water holds us together. So how can we change the way we consume water? I mean, do people care about conserving water now? We still take 15-minute showers. We water our lawn when it's 80 degrees out, so we're just using more water. We run dishwashers that aren't full. We don't repair leaky faucets. We put little amounts of clothes into our washing machines.
I want to know what we can do to help conserve water better. I want to know what we can all do, a town like Windsor. If there's anything to do, any way to stop our inefficient abuse of using water before it gets too far.
What I do is provide outreach education to homeowners, consumers, and the green industry about horticultural practices, gardening, and other landscape things.
What is there to talk about conserving water in the landscape area?
Oh, there's so much. So in horticulture and in landscape, there's a lot that goes into it, and our industry as a whole is really trying to be very cognizant of our water use. With Colorado, we have limited water. We're a semi-arid climate, and so we don't get a lot of natural precipitation in the form of rain or snow. And so when we have these major drought events, the last one was in the early 2000s, this season is looking not very promising. We have to make strides to provide the appropriate plant material, do proper practices, and then provide education to people about what they can do to help save water.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Will changing just the plants you buy so they take up less water make a significant difference?
It can, yeah. So the interesting thing about Colorado is that a lot of people move to Colorado from other locations. So I'm a transplant from Minnesota. And when you move from a place with a lot of precipitation to a place that doesn't have a lot, you have to adjust your gardening practices. And some of the drought-resistant plants, or even the natives, the ones that are considered xeric, which just means that they're low water using, it can make a big impact on your overall water budget. If everybody does a little bit, it will help save water. One big thing is to use the appropriate irrigation heads. So if you have a sprinkler system, there are more efficient heads that you can switch out. Some places offer rebates. And switching out plant materials is another big thing, and then just watering in smart ways. So watering maybe not during the middle of the day when it's hot and it's windy. The general awareness is that we can continue to educate people on making appropriate plant choices and using irrigation systems that are more efficient, and using mulch. Mulch is a great thing to help, making sure that water doesn't run off or that you are watering your plants and not the sidewalk. Those are all things you can do. And then just being cognizant of your turf grass areas. So it's absolutely appropriate to have turf in a landscape, and it sometimes gets a bad reputation. But we need turf for recreation, for pets to play on. But you can minimize turf areas and make it adaptable for what you need. It's a group effort that everybody needs to invest in. So as a small town, they're making the appropriate strides, and I think they're looking at bigger entities like the city of Fort Collins, who has a very rigorous water conservation program. And they're starting to get there, which is great, and they're making the right choices to help people. And as the town grows, our water will only become more limited. So they are making efforts to make sure that they're balancing the budget so that we can continue to grow as a town, but also have water for everyone.
So explain the water conservation campaign that will be going on.
Sure, so part of that is the garden in a box. People can get online and order those gardens. The Town of Windsor provided $50, $25 gift cards essentially so that people could get a reduction on the price of their garden. And these are all Xeriscape gardens. We also have a Waterwise seminar that'll be happening in April to teach people how to take care of their lawns and plant their gardens and things like that using Xeriscape guidelines. We'll also be doing some rebate programs, probably rolling those out in June or July for toilet rebates and washer rebates. That's where you find the highest level of water conservation overall is through those rebate programs and giving people an opportunity to buy, lower level use washers and toilets and things like that. Another thing we have are these, it's a water conservation kit, and these are free at the Town of Windsor, and we'll be providing them also out at the farmers markets this year. But it comes with all kinds of tools for water conservation.
Now, everything in the water conservation kit is fairly easy to use. The water-saving nozzle flows at a rate of 2.5 gallons per minute. The kitchen or bath adapter flows at a rate of 1.5 gallons per minute. You just unscrew your existing one off and put the more efficient one on. The shower head flows at a max rate of 2 gallons per minute. Most shower heads do 2.5 gallons per minute. Using the disc squeegee will not only save you water, but it doesn't even use water. It comes with another faucet adapter that can swivel. This flows out a rate of 1.5 gallons per minute as well. Using the moisture meter is easy. Just put it in the ground and it'll tell you if the grass needs to be watered or not. This is what's called a toilet tummy. You simply fill it to the fill line with water hanging on the left side of the tank, then flush the toilet. Now if it interferes with any moving parts, place it somewhere else, but it will save you water every time you flush. The leak detection tablets are simple. Drop them in the tank, one at a time of course, wait 20 minutes and if colored water appears in the bowl, then you have a leak.
So what's the most simplest way that anyone can do in Windsor to conserve water and save water better?
Okay, one of the simplest ways is turning off your water when you brush your teeth. Really, you can serve a family. A family could save up to 8,000 gallons a month by just turning off their water when they brush their teeth. Other things are taking a shower instead of a bath. A bath will take up to 70 gallons of water as opposed a week essentially compared to a 5-minute shower, and that would take just minimal amounts of water. As far as your grass, less watering and checking to make sure it actually needs to be watered. If you step on your grass and the grass springs back up, it means it doesn't need to be watered. But if your grass stays down and when you press on it, it means you need to water your grass.
So what are some goals you have for better water conservation here?
I think, because this year is our first year, I'm really wanting to see what programs the Town of Windsor, the residents like, because it's the people have to like what they do and want to buy into the, whatever program it is. So as far as a goal, I think this year, my goal is to see what works. And, is it going to help us conserve water? And if it doesn't, then, we need to go back to the drawing board and see what programs we can use that will help us, conserve enough water to make a difference and to save the town some money and the residents money. We did these water conservation kits in 2013 and had 274 customers sign up. They had to come in, pick these up, sign up, and we tracked their water use for a solid year.
If Windsor were really serious about conserving water, then why doesn't everyone have a water conservation kit? We would all be saving roughly 445 million gallons a year, and about $1,780,000 a year. And that's if everyone would be using it.
So now, are we on supply and demand for water right now?
No, not at this time.
Not even close.
Nope, not at this time. We've done it. We've got, our engineering department has done a really great job to make sure that we have an adequate water supply and purchase enough water to keep us going. We have some reserves online as well. So, there is water, but not enough to say that, one of the projects that we're working on is the Northern Colorado Integrated Supply Project.
Well, it's a very complicated, expensive project, but I'll put it as simple as I can. First of all, there would be 2 reservoirs constructed to store water. The first one they call Glade Reservoir. That would be built northwest of Fort Collins in a canyon that currently Highway 287 runs through towards Laramie, Wyoming. I think probably most people are familiar with that canyon. There would be a dam constructed at the south end of the canyon, and then water from the Poudre River would be actually pumped up into the reservoir and stored, and then released to the entities who are part of the NISP. The second reservoir that would be constructed is east of Alt, and it's called the Galton Reservoir, and it would be part of the system, and that's where it somewhat gets complicated, because they would actually store South Platte River water in it, deliver it to irrigation companies that are in this area. In exchange for that, those irrigation companies would allow the NISP participants to use their irrigation water and store it in Glade. So you've got to have both reservoirs to make the whole project work.
It all starts with education, like same way with everything. If we or the town of Windsor try to better educate the people on water conservation and conserving water, obviously things would be different.